Hi, this is Philip Byrne for PhoneScoop.com, and here I'm looking at the Motorola Charm, available now on T-Mobile. And the Charm had to win me over. I wasn't a fan of its style at first, but I really do end up liking the design, and I like the keyboard tremendously. It seems like it's going to be a stubby little keyboard, but as you can see, the keys are nicely raised. They were very comfortable for typing. And it's unique in the Android world. There aren't many phones with this keyboard down on the bottom and the touchscreen up top. I think the Motorola Charm might be a first in this form factor. Now the screen can be a big problem. The screen is sort of low quality, it's a little small, it's QVGA resolution, so a lot of pictures and text could be difficult to read. I don't know if you can tell through the camera lens, but in person it could be a little bit chunky, a little bit tough to read. But otherwise, I found the Charm to be fairly likable if you can get past the screen. This is not an underpowered Android phone. It runs Android 2.1. It's got Motorola's Moto Blur interface, the newest version, so it does have a whole bunch of nice widgets and features. As you can see around the back, you have this kind of strange backtrack touchpad. It keeps your fingers out of the way so that you can, as you can see, I'm scrolling through the home screen panels. If you have a list, you can scroll through lists. Pretty much anywhere on screen that you can scroll or move around, you can use the backtrack, and it'll even give you a target so that you can aim with the target. Now sometimes it can be difficult to control, sometimes it can be a little wonky, but sometimes it really was useful, especially reading long web pages, browsing through long lists. It was kind of nice. I definitely hope Motorola doesn't give it up. Now, I am a big fan of Motorola's Moto Blur interface. I think these widgets are some of the coolest widgets on any Android phone. As you can see, it's not just about dragging the widget around to place it where you want. You can actually resize widgets so that they'll take up certain amounts of space, whatever you want to devote to them on screen. If you like just periodically browsing through your social networks, you can check status updates from Facebook and Twitter. Using a similar sort of widget, you can post updates to Facebook and Twitter all at the same time. You can check news RSS feeds. It's very customizable. I especially love these contact widgets. The more you expand them on screen, the more options you get, so you can place more phone numbers, more shortcuts with each contact widget. And I really like the way it all works together. I've always been very impressed by these new Motorola Moto Blur widgets. And I'm glad that they didn't skimp on the Motorola Charm. Just because it's a small phone doesn't mean it doesn't get the same sort of interface benefits you'll find on the Droid X or the Motorola Droid 2. Now, unfortunately, that screen gets in the way in more ways than one. It's not just that it's difficult to read. Some applications actually had trouble with the screen. For instance, here's Facebook. Now you have to rotate onto its side to use the main menu screen. And then, of course, once you start reading your news feed, it rotates back again. This happened with quite a few apps. There were some high-performance apps like SpeedForge that just didn't run properly. And all in all, the screen just created some problems that I just didn't need. And here's a camera. It uses a very simple 3-megapixel camera. Very simple interface. You can tap this button here on screen. But there's also a camera button down here on the keyboard. And I like just being able to get a good 2-thumb grip on that keyboard for a nice steady grip. Shoot my image and keep going. It had a pretty responsive camera. Images weren't great, but hey, at least you can take a whole bunch of pictures in a row very quickly. So that's the Motorola Charm. With a much higher resolution screen, maybe at least twice the pixels, I would say this would be an easy recommendation. As it is, I think performance freaks, people who like a really nice phone, something that they can brag about and show off, you're just not going to find anything in this small size just yet. But if the size doesn't bother you, if you don't mind the lower res screen, the phone sure packs in the features and it benefits from some of the best that Motorola has to offer. So it's definitely worth a look. For PhoneScoop.com, I'm Philip Byrne.